Hearts to hearing your word. Help to transform our lives. Lord, help us to trust you when we are upset. To trust that we can come and let it all out before you. And that you will show us mercy. That in our foolishness you will give us wisdom. In our pain, you will give us healing. In our sorrow, you will give us comfort and hope. Gracious Lord, you have bore all things, and you can bear all of our pain and all of our anger. This morning, help us to hear your message through your servant Job and through my lips. Let us hear your message in spite of me, or through me. For this we pray. Amen. We enter now into our fourth week now in Job. For those of you who haven't been with us for the past couple, just a quick recap. The first week we talked about how everything was going so wonderfully in Job's life. We were told that he was one of the most successful, one of the richest persons in his area, that he had 10 children, 7 sons and 3 daughters who all loved each other, who would eat meals together every night, each son taking a turn hosting at their house and caring for their 3 sisters. We were told how righteous and upright he was, that nowhere on earth could one be found so faithful as him. And then the raiders came and killed all of his livestock and stole all of his livestock, killed all of his servants. The house of his son who was hosting dinner that night collapsed and killed all of his children. His wife left him amidst all the trouble. And he still remained faithful. And so we are told that he was stricken with all manner of illness, open sores from the top of his head to the bottoms of his feet that prevented him from being able to wear clothes and to always having to itch, deformities in his bones and pain within his body, an inability to keep food within him. And he is left sitting on an ash pile, alone, depressed. And he cries out in that depression and asks God to curse the very day he was born, to go ahead and take his life, for there is nothing left to live for. And then his friends show up. Some try to comfort him with platitudes. Others try to blame him for all that has happened, saying that surely he must be punished or being punished for the sins that he has committed, that all of these accidents and these events took place because he must not have been as righteous as everyone thought. And now we find ourselves here. Job has moved from his depression into anger. You can still hear a little bit of his sorrow in today's passages, but now he is crying out to God. How, God, can I stand before you? How can anyone stand right before you? If we did, we could only speak even once in 1,000 times. You are God. You are the one who has all wisdom and power. You control everything in this world, from the sun in the sky and the stars of night. You who can move the mountains. How can I possibly contend with you and wrestle with you? I cannot take you to court and bear my grievances out before you like I could another man. No, instead, I must take what you offer and live with it. God, how unfair is it that you would do such things and give us no recourse against you? Lord, it is clear to me that you not only convict the wicked now I see that you are one who condemns the just as well. Because if you aren't doing it, who else possibly could be? You, Lord, give us no recourse. We are not equals in this. You destroy all that you have given. For every blessing, you bring curse. Why, O Lord? If you were but an equal, I could have it out with you. Job has moved to that place where I think if we're honest, we've all probably moved at some point. When we become so overwhelmed with what is going on around us. So overwhelmed that we don't know who to blame. Maybe there's no one to blame, and so we reach out and blame the one being that we can, the one being who is supposed to have unlimited power and be in control, the being who is supposed to be all benevolent and all good. And we cry out and bang our fists against him because we are not experiencing that goodness in the moment. Job chooses to cry out to God amidst his anger. He doesn't walk away. He doesn't go to God and say, I am done. You clearly do not exist. You clearly are not there. Instead, he tries to wrestle with how it is that all of this can be going on and how God can still be who God is. And in his anger, he probably said some things that were not right. Some things that show how little he understands. But yet he comes and he cries out to God. He maintains that relationship with God, even in his anger, rather than severing it and cutting it off. And as we will find out from the rest of Job's story, God responds. That in his anger and in his bitterness, by coming to God, Job opens himself up for God to come to him. And next week we will hear God's response to Job. It is a response that is built up after Job continues to cry out for multiple chapters of his story. It is a response that we will hear that God not only delivers to Job, but delivers for all of his friends who continue to try to counsel him and speak on God's behalf. But it is a response that Job is only able to receive because even in his anger, he still comes to God that righteousness and faith do not mean that we always have the best and most pleasant and happiest feelings with God, that we can still be faithful and we can still be righteous even when we are upset, even when we are depressed, even when we don't understand. If we remain in relationship with God, we allow God to do His work and His part in our lives. And we can wrestle with Him, and we can fight with Him, and we can try to blame Him, but the key is that we continue to engage with Him. Because it is in that place that we can be opened to hearing Him respond, to finding the comfort and finding the truth that goes deeper than our pain, and that can bring us solace. As a people and children of God, as a people who long to be faithful like Job, may we know and take comfort in that we can bring God anything. That we can come to Him wherever we are in life and however we are feeling, and we can lay it bare before Him. We can pound on His chest and cry out against Him. We can say that He's being unfair and that we are mistreated. And He will listen. And He will forgive. And He will still restore us. God is like the parent that every child wishes they could have. The parent that as a child, you can argue with and still feel like you win. And have no fear of punishment. Because God has the ability to teach, and to love, and to forgive, even in those places and in those moments. And He would always rather us come to Him than to break apart our relationship. May we learn from Job. Learn that we are able to bring all things to God. And that God will still care for us.